Hi everyone, how are you doing? I must admit that I am excited. I am excited because I got to put on purple lipstick, my favorite today. I'm excited because I'm going to share these 45 minutes with you, and I am hoping that I can make it as impactful and as useful as possible. As Jordan said, I am a happiness coach. I am an attorney and an author. The thing I'm most proud of is that I'm a happiness coach and I help people live and find the tools, techniques, and just the direction to live happier, more fulfilling lives. And so, Jordan, thank you so much for having me. I must admit, I did not know about Common Threads before being introduced to you 2 weeks ago. I am so impressed with what the organization is doing. And of course, health is wealth. You know, right now we have to be so intentional about what we're eating, what we're digesting, and just trying to really focus on the positive in our lives. So thank you so much for having me. Another note is that I am here at home. I am in Miami. And so I depend on your energy also to just bring this happiness and good vibes and positivity to this webinar. So please feel free to participate, ask as many questions as you need, and just have fun. Let's just have fun today for these 45 minutes. Fun is something that we are lacking in right now, and I just want to make this as fun as possible for the time that we have together. So I don't want to minimize the impact that COVID has had on all of us. You know, if you are a human being, I am certain, and you are, we all are going through a really tough time. Every day we wake up, we hear more people have passed and succumbed to the disease. More people are losing their jobs. People are just stressed out, feeling anxious, just fearful, and rightfully so. And so I want us to really just focus, of course, on the fact that we are in a season that none of us have ever experienced. And so now more than ever, we need to be kind to ourselves. We need to be very patient with ourselves. And of course, we have to be patient with our friends or families or coworkers, anybody who we come in contact with, because people really do need our kindness these days, right? So it's a tragedy and it is traumatic. You know, every day we wake up, we just hear about the doom and the gloom. But today I want to do and spend time focusing on the silver linings. What are some of the positive things that may have come because of this time? How can we hold on and preserve our joy during this very challenging season? And let me tell you, it's hard. And day to day, we all are just figuring it out and finding ways how to pivot, right? So I believe in the midst of great loss, we could find silver linings. And I don't know if you know the saying, every cloud has a silver lining. No crisis lasts forever. No storm lasts forever. Every single storm eventually runs out of rain. And if we think about 10 years ago, a couple of years ago when we had a financial crisis, America, we bounced back and we thrived, right? Through every single period in history where things have gone wrong, we have seen the spirit of human resilience and how we have bounced back. And not only have we bounced back, but we have flourished. So today I want to focus on flourishing. So, you know, our thoughts truly do become things. And, you know, I believe what we think about, we bring about. And so as we think about the loss of jobs, I want you to think about the silver lining. And the silver lining perhaps maybe that we now have, or the individual who has lost his job or her job has the gift of time. And it's a valuable commodity. Nobody wants to lose their job. We want to be employed, right? We want to have our safety nets. But the silver lining is that the gift of time. Maybe now that individual could use this season to focus on projects that they've always wanted to focus on, to search for jobs or employment that truly resonates with their spirit. using this time to write the book that they may have wanted to write, whatever it is, to figure out the fact, to focus on the fact that yes, you may have lost employment, but what's the silver lining behind that loss? Another thing that we have also, loss of freedom. I think that is one of the hardest things that I've had to deal with because I'm so used to doing things that I want to do when I want to do them. And fortunately for me, I am still employed. But the silver lining behind the loss of freedom is that now we are finding more creative ways to connect with our friends and our family members. We're using Zoom, we're using FaceTime more. I am connecting with you here today on a platform and talking to people around the country that I probably would not have had the opportunity to interact with. So the silver lining is that we are getting creative and focusing on different ways that we can connect with each other. Another one is the loss of income and the silver lining. And trust me, it's hard to even imagine a silver lining. But the silver lining in the loss of income right now is the fact that we're spending less on stuff. We're not going out to eat. We're not spending a lot of money on entertainment. We're not spending money on our gas. So those are just a few examples of ways that we can just shift and focus on the silver linings of what we're facing right now. So my mission here today is to give you some tools and techniques to implement in your life immediately, and not only for this season in COVID, but throughout your entire life. You know, losses in life are inevitable. That's one thing we all have to come face to face with. Losses in life are inevitable. So let's talk about some happiness, which is my absolute favorite topic to talk about. So Jordan, could you please, yes, next slide. So in order to truly be happy and to focus on what happiness means to you, you have to focus on your truth. Happiness is grounded in truth. And you have to take 100% responsibility for the fact that happiness is your job. It's an inside job. Nothing external that you're going to add to your life is going to make you happy unless you get the internal right. So I want you to have a moment, and we're going to have a moment of reflection. And I want you to write this down. Like, this is an interactive workshop. I want you to write this prompt. I would be even happier in my life if I was more fully honest with myself about. And I want you to really think about it. And so you may not come up with the answer immediately in this 45 minutes, and I want you to think about it after we leave here today. But if you're totally honest with yourself, what are the things in your life that you know need to shift? And I am almost certain that COVID has been highlighting that things in your life that you were already unhappy about, right? So you can't fix what you don't confront. You cannot fix what you don't confront. You have to get honest with yourself. Pretending to the world that you are okay, that you are happy, and living a facade is not doing you any justice, because every night when you put your head on that pillow, you are alone with your thoughts, knowing what it really and truly feels like deep in your soul, how you feel. So next slide, Jordan, please. Today, I want you to focus on your happiness score. And so your happiness score is a score between 1 to 10. And I want you to think, and not necessarily right now in COVID, but over the last 3-4 months of your life, how happy have you been on a scale from 1 to 10? And I want you to be very honest. And so when you write that score, I want you to, I'm not seeing it. And usually when I'm engaged in audiences, I ask people to be very vulnerable and to speak up. And so I have been in seasons of my life where my happiness score was a 5, and I could have sat there and pretended, you know what, everything's okay. But until I became honest and truthful with myself, I was unable to fix it and really look into what needed to be changed. And so today you very well may say, you know, I'd be happier if I was honest with myself about the relationship that I'm in. It's not serving me anymore. It has run its course. I'd be happier if I was honest with myself about the fact that I am not happy with my body or what I've been eating. I feel unhealthy. I feel lethargic. I am unhappy with myself. And if I'm being honest, I don't like my job. I just go there every day and it doesn't even stimulate me. I'm just there. I don't feel inspired. And so take the time to really think about what that means to you. And so on the flip side is, I want you to also think about, what does happiness mean to you? And as I said, it's deeply personal. So for me, happiness is peace. Anything that leads me towards peace, peace of mind, that is where my happiness is grounded. So peace of mind for me is a day at the beach, good books, spending good time with my friends, having one-on-one time with myself, right? And then I think about, what is the version of myself that's happiest? Think about a time when you were your happiest self. What were you doing? Who were you with? How did you feel? What were you eating? What books were you reading? So I want you to take a screenshot of this, the happiness inventory. I want you to think about your happiness score. What does happiness mean to you and your happiest self? We could move to the next slide, Jordan. Oh, sorry. We could go back. Let's not go there yet. Sorry. Yes. So happiness is, as I said, a deeply personal thing. Research shows that happier people live 9 times longer. They have stronger immune systems. They have stronger relationships. They make more money. They're more resilient. They're more creative. And so if that is not a case for trying or doing the things to make you happier, I don't know what is, right? And so each of us have a happiness set point. 50% of our happiness is based on our genetics. 10% of our happiness is based on life circumstances. For instance, COVID, what we're going through right now, just things that are happening in your life, that's 10%. But 40% of our happiness is based on our habits, which is so empowering, because when you think about it, if 40% of your happiness rests on the things that you're doing on a daily basis, then guess what? It means that you could increase your happiness levels exponentially, right? So my job here today is to teach you and to just shed some light on some things that you could be doing with your 40%. So one of the things, I coach private clients and I also speak to, audiences, employers, employees about different things that they could do to make them happy. And the one thing that I always lead with is creating a deliberate and intentional morning routine. And so what does that mean? So when you wake up in the morning, what do you do first? Are you setting yourself up for success? Are you setting up yourself for having the happiest, most fulfilling day possible? So if you are like the majority of Americans, you probably wake up and you reach for your cell phone. Am I right or am I right? And so what that does is that you are now allowing people to put their energy on your day and in your psyche rather than creating a day for yourself, right? So instead of waking up and just immediately grabbing your phone, checking emails, looking on somebody's social media feed, looking on the news, no, I want you to now start thinking in the morning, what could I do as I open my eyes that could serve my highest self, my happiest self? And it doesn't have to be a long period. It could be 10 minutes, 5 minutes. But some suggestions are meditation, just being still, being present with yourself, being present with your thoughts. In the morning, when the air is crisp, the rise of a new day, it's the perfect time to really just be still and to really focus on the blessings of waking up. What a big blessing it is that you got to wake up another day. And waking up, especially now, you realize it is not a right. It's a privilege that we all got to wake up this morning. So spend some time just being still, meditating, stilling your mind, focusing on your breath, right? At any point, you could Google meditation, simple meditation, and start practicing. Another thing that you could be doing is visualizing. Visualizing is such a important and it's such a powerful tool. So the thing about visualizing is that I want you to start visualizing, what does your happiest self look like? If you could draw, create, write out your perfect day, what would that be? In the morning, I want you to sit there with your thoughts and imagine it. And I will tell you, one of the hardest seasons of my life, I remember I would wake up and I would be so confused and torn and stuck about the fact that my life had gotten to where it was. I was in a relationship that was no longer serving me. And I remember I just started visualizing what I wanted to feel like when I woke up, how I wanted to feel throughout my day. And the more I visualized it, is the more it empowered me to take the steps and to take all the ways to just mobilize and really tap into that person, the Rochelle that I saw who could wake up and have peace. And I remember I just would visualize it. And so now that girl who would visualize that Rochelle waking up in peace is now doing so. But you have to have a firm picture in your mind of what it is that you want your life to look like. And so another thing I would suggest is a gratitude practice. Gratitude is the number one, shortest, freest, easiest way to be happy. In the morning, before you could even start complaining, oh, I'm tired, or oh, why are we still stuck inside, or blah, blah, blah. I want you to think of 3 new things you're grateful for every single day, 3 new things. And as you're thinking about those things, I want you to start saying them aloud. I'm grateful for the pillows that I slept on. I'm grateful for the roof over my head. I'm grateful for my lungs. And the beautiful thing about gratitude and having a gratitude practice is that you could encourage and incorporate it with your friends. So when friends call me and they're complaining, I immediately stop them in their tracks and I'm like, but what are you grateful for? And I can tell they are just so irritated by it, but it works because so many times we get into that flow of complaining. And listen, we all have things to be grateful for. Life, as bad as it may be right now, could be so much worse. And so gratitude is that emotion and that gift, the value of really just focusing on all the things that we have as opposed to the things that we don't have. And so I would implore you to start it today with your friends, your family. I love when my friends tell me that their children are getting involved because children have a pure, innocent way of just noticing things that adults just overlook. So your gratitude practice, I suggest you do it in the day. Some people do it at night, others do it at their dinner table. Whatever you do, do it. But I like to start my mornings with it. The second tip I would say is to have healthy boundaries. And so you have to limit toxic energy that's coming into your life. You have to limit the negative people that you're surrounded by, and you also have to limit the news and the social media that you are allowing into your universe, your space, your atmosphere. And so a tip, and I will suggest them as I go along, I call them happiness hacks. A happiness hack that works for me is that I have a doom and gloom time. Doom and gloom time. And I schedule it. And so I will say, today, my doom and gloom time will be 2 p.m. to 2:30. And so let me give you an example. Earlier today, I stepped outside of myself and decided to look on the news before the scheduled doom and gloom time. So doom and gloom time for me is a time that I will turn on the news, read the newspaper, and you know, the news is just a 24-hour, oh, woe is me, doom, gloom, somebody else succumbed. We're not hearing the stories of people who have beat this disease. And so I decided today, right in the midst of preparing for this presentation, to turn on CNN. And then I noticed that Elizabeth Warren's brother passed from COVID, and immediately my mood plummeted. And I knew better. I said, Rochelle, you know that you have to set yourself up for success. So I'm saying to you that you create your doom and gloom time. You decide what time of day you want to allow that energy to come in, because guess what? You have to stay aware. We all have to be aware of what's going on. But really and truly, my heart goes out to Elizabeth Warren and her entire family. But hearing that her brother died at 10:30 a.m. this morning, or finding out about it 3 hours later, it still would have affected me. But it also, I would have then chose what I could have done right after that time to then lift my mood again. So what I did after I read that is that I started playing my favorite songs. And it just ultimately started putting me back in high energy mode, because I needed high energy to come to talk to you. So after your doom and gloom time, I suggest that you also have an activity that you know is going to make you happy. Playing your favorite songs, calling your mom, calling somebody who you love talking to. So I will say, limit your social media posts. Whoever is on your timeline being a negative Nancy and just spewing all kind of hate, you may need to unfollow them. I have had to mute a couple people on Twitter, and I've had to limit my access to some people's pages on Facebook, because I realize that there are just some people among us who all they want to focus on is negativity. And right now we are in self-preservation mode. We all need to preserve our sanity. We need to preserve our peace. So whatever you can do to do that and to limit the negative energy, please do so. That also includes the friends who you're talking to, the messages that you're responding to, the WhatsApp calls that you're replying to. Who is taking you towards the joy? What are the things that are taking you towards the joy? And this is not just for COVID, this is for your entire life. If people are not making you feel good, loved, healthy, cherished, then you need to start determining how you could set boundaries, healthy boundaries around the interactions. Another thing is social connection. So the research shows that happy people tend to be relatively social. And so with this social distancing and social sheltering in place, so many people are feeling socially isolated. And so even prior to this, loneliness is one of the things that most Americans are suffering from. We are more connected than ever, but we are lonelier than ever because people are just not having meaningful conversations anymore. So I would say to you is, if you are feeling lonely or if you're feeling isolated, and I recently had a webinar where a young lady said, but what if I really just don't have any friends or family members I could talk to? And so I told her, this is where you get creative, because now there are webinars going on all day, every day. There are Facebook lives going on, there are Instagram lives going on. There are people who want to engage with you. So find different platforms that you could engage with different people, and you'll be surprised. People just want to talk. So pick up the phone, call that cousin that you haven't seen in a while. Reach out to your high school teacher on Facebook and send them a note. People want to communicate. And so do not underestimate the power of human connection and what you can do to start the communication. People want to be heard from. So do not sit in isolation, and please use the platforms that are available to us, FaceTime, Zoom, and connect with your friends. I have been talking to people and having just more meaningful conversations with people who I haven't spoke to on the phone in tons of years, because I took it for granted that, oh, we're on Facebook, I see what's going on. But I can't tell you how happy it has made me sitting on the phone, having an hour and a half conversation with friends from high school, talking to friends from law school, doing Facebook group chats. So, make it a habit to try to connect with people as much as possible. Another tip is exercise. Now more than ever, you need to double down on your self-care, on your physical self-care. And research shows that a mere 12-minute walk is sufficient to create an upbeat mood. 12 minutes. 12 minutes of an entire 24-hour day is enough to increase and boost your mood, scientifically proven. And so you need to get to moving. I know right now some of us cannot walk outside. You may need to just walk around your yard. You may need to walk up and down the stairs in your condo. You know, I look forward to my daily walks. I'm in Miami, the sun, the weather is glorious right now. A 12-minute walk, it literally shifts my mood every time I go outside and feel the sun on my skin. So I'm saying to you, move, find some exercises that you enjoy. Another happiness hack, create a Rona playlist. And a Rona playlist is put your favorite songs, all the songs that trigger happy memories, put them on a playlist and play them and dance. Dance in your house for 12 minutes. Have fun with it. Have fun with your children. Dance with your husband. FaceTime your friends, just dance, have a dance party, have fun. Listen, what you're doing right now is just finding all the ways to tune in and turn up the joy. So get creative with exercise. You know, I wasn't doing yoga before or Pilates before, but guess what? I've started a yoga practice and I love it because usually I've convinced myself, oh, I'm a high impact workout energy person. I need spinning, I need running. But now I can't go to spinning anymore. So I am now doing Pilates and I'm doing yoga and I love it. So online, there are tons of free exercise classes. You must do it. It increases your endorphins. It increases the oxytocin in your brain, the feel-good hormone, and it is absolutely necessary to increase your happiness levels. Another tip is that I want you to commit to leaving COVID better than you went in. And what I mean by that, and I want you to write it down, I'm gonna stop for 10 seconds so you could write this down. I want you to write, I will walk out of this better than I walked in. I will walk out of this better than I walked in. And so, you know, in the beginning, I remember the first week or two, people were sharing these memes about, oh, you have to do your next seminar and you need to, you know, figure out your new business and all the businesses that were founded during the last recession and blah, 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 blah. And it was giving me anxiety because I literally thought, well, I'm not being productive. I'm not being productive. I should be doing more with this time. I should be doing more with this time. And I had a moment. And so I realized that my better is my better. Do not let anybody force you into thinking that you need to write the next great American novel during this season. Do not let anybody force you into thinking that you need to come up with the master business plan during this season. I want you to think of better as better. It could be the most minuscule thing. So better for me has now included, I am going to meditate 10 minutes or more. Before, I could maybe zone in for 4 minutes. And so better, think about small incremental wins. How can you be better? If you used to read 3 paragraphs per week, maybe this week you will read 10 paragraphs. The thing about small wins is that it gives you the momentum for big wins. I'll repeat that again. The thing about small wins is that it gives you the momentum for big wins. So whatever small wins you could find in this season, you need to find them. I have had the best time learning how to cook. I could cook before, but I was mediocre. I would give myself a C- on cooking. Over these last 6 weeks, I've been watching cooking classes. I got an air fryer for my birthday. I am in here cooking up a storm. And I am sure that Jordan can appreciate that because I am just over here just living my best life, making healthy meals, eating well. And so I have become better. The Rochelle that came into COVID could barely cook anything. I would cook the same 3 things all the time. Now I am looking up recipes and I am excited about the things that I can get better at. And listen, you very well may use this season to start writing the book. You very well may use this season to do the business, but I don't want you to feel the stress of having to, because I know the internet will make you go crazy. People are talking about finding your purpose and everything. No, 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 no. Better is surviving. Better is waking up and taking a shower. Better is being able to pivot. Better is the fact that we have all made it here today. 6 weeks later, we are alive and we are thriving through COVID. We aren't dead, which means we have so much to celebrate. So focus on your better. What are you going to be better at? When you look back on yourself as how you have evolved through the season, what will you be celebrating? What wins can you celebrate? And shake it up. Try new things. Try yoga, try Pilates, do a free 2-day course on happiness. You're here with me. You're doing a happiness webinar. Celebrate the new things. You'll be surprised how much you learn about yourself when you get outside of the box, right? And you start living outside of the box you've created. The thing about happiness is that a lot of people think they are unhappy, but really they are bored. And so now is a time to start trying new things. You know, a lot of us live the same day every single day and call it our life. We don't do anything new. We don't go to the new Publix on a different street. We don't try the Winn-Dixie. We only go to CVS. We go to the same exact movie theater. Try to challenge yourself now to do new things outside of the box. Now in this season and as you exit this season, just try to shake up your life, do new things. Another suggestion is envisioning the best case scenario. And so what I mean by that is that human beings have on average about 60,000 thoughts per day. And out of those 60,000 thoughts, 80% of those thoughts are negative, right? Which is just sad, but you know, fear is a useful thing. It's a useful emotion. We use it to protect ourselves, but sometimes we can overthink and cause ourselves so much anxiety, and we just got on this negative path, right? And so in envisioning the best case scenario, whatever you're going through right now, right? I want you to start training yourself to stop yourself from going down that negative thought pattern. And so I'm going to give you an example of how you could utilize this in your life. So you very well may think, and I want you to think about a negative thing that you think may happen. Oh, I'm going to lose my job. And then when I lose my job, I'm going to be homeless, and then I won't be able to pay my bills, and then I'm going to be living on the street. You could just get carried away with all the negative thoughts that could happen. And so after a while, if you really play out the entire whole scenario of that negative thing that you're thinking, you start realizing, well, maybe I'm being a little bit dramatic here. I may lose my job, but I may not be able to pay my bills, but I do have friends who I could rely on for a season to help me. I have my mom, my dad, people who would want to help me. But separate and apart from that, even just the thought of just pulling yourself back from the absurdity sometimes of what the stories that we create in our head, I want you to start thinking, but what is the best that could happen? Jordan, may I have the other slide? What's the best that could happen for having gone through this hard season? And so I want you to think about something great that has come from a hard season in your life. And I'm going to use myself as an example. 4 years ago now, as I told you, I was going through a really rough time. I was in a long-term relationship. It had run its course, and I was just so disappointed and just devastated because I had all these grand plans for my life with my partner. Lo and behold, I got through that season, and it was through that rough season where I had to pause and I had to self-reflect. And that's the thing about these silent seasons. It causes you to look inside yourself in a way that the winning season Doesn't. And so during that season, I did so much self-reflection. And I remember thinking, okay, the worst case scenario is that I leave this relationship at 35, I never meet anybody, I die alone, I don't have children, and all these things and all these things and all these things. And the best case scenario was, well, I could leave this relationship, I could take the lessons that I've learned, I could meet the love of my life, I could have healthy children, and guess what? Those things made me feel better. It made me feel good. But the icing on the cake for all of having gone through that is that I'm sitting here with you. The Rochelle 4 years ago had no clue what her purpose was. I was practicing law. And though I enjoyed practicing law, it wasn't the thing that I woke up excited about in the morning. That breakup single-handedly catapulted me into my purpose. I started studying, researching happiness. I went on a sabbatical where I traveled, started writing my book. The book became an Amazon bestseller. It took on a life of its own. It opened up so many doors. I started going around the world, teaching women, men, audiences how to be happy. So the great thing that came from that hard season of my life is that now I'm living my purpose, and I'm here with you, teaching you ways how you could be happier and how you could live a more fulfilled life. So these reflections, I don't expect you to do them immediately, not right now, but look back in your life and think about some things that have happened. The school that you did not get into, but you ended up going to a different college and you met your best friends. You may have met your soulmate. The job that you wanted so badly that you didn't get, but you ended up getting a better job. Think about each time a closed door ended up being something more incredible and amazing for you. And I want you to write it down. And every single time that you feel discouraged, I want you to go back to that list and reassure yourself that closed doors also have a purpose. And so as long as you could focus on the fact that there is a purpose, and as I said it earlier, every storm runs out of rain, the rainbow will come, the silver lining is there. I want you to just reinforce that, yes, life may be hard and nobody promised us easy lives, but guess what? You made it through that hard time, that hard season, you could make it through this hard season and the next one to come, because guess what? There are more coming. It is life. As long as you're living, hard things will happen, but we are prepared for hard things because we are human beings and we have the emotional resiliency to keep bouncing back. So my last point, and then we could have some questions, is be kind. And Jordan, we could go to the next slide. You know, be kind. I want you to be kind to yourself, but I also want you to be kind to other people. Everybody is going through a rough time right now. Earlier today, I walked to Whole Foods, and as I was heading there, I had on my mask, and a man was standing outside cleaning the sidewalks, and he looked at me and he beamed and he said, "Hello, Miss USA." And it made my day. He made my day. I had on a mask. He could not even see my face. And he said, "Hello, Miss USA." And I was just like, "Hi, thank you so much." But you never know when your kind word is going to touch somebody, when your kind word is going to help that person at that checkout line, at Whole Foods, at Publix, at Target. Now is the time to be kind to people. And kindness is a quality that you should nurture for the rest of your life. We reap what we sow. We reap what we sow. And you may not get it back from the source that you have sowed it in, but let me tell you, the universe balances it all out. So today, I implore you, who can you be kind to? Who can you be compassionate to? Who can you put yourself in their shoes and realize that maybe they are having a hard time and that they do deserve some grace, that they do deserve some patience? Which food bank could you donate to? I think you absolutely should donate right now, right? After this, if you're somebody who is still getting paid, you should want to help Common Threads and other organizations that need our help right now as they help the community. So who can you be kind to today? And so that is my last point, because kindness, it is just such an incredible quality to nurture. And so go out and be kind. Be kind to your friends, be kind to your family. You know, if you have something good to give, you may be clearing out your wardrobe, you may be clearing out the clutter in your house. Who could you donate some of those clothes that you no longer wear to? So kindness is contagious, and the kinder you are is the kinder the people around you will become. And so I will leave with one of my favorite quotes, and it's your happiness requires your courage. Courage, nurture it. Your happiness requires you staring yourself in the mirror every single day and asking the tough questions and being truthful with yourself about if you are happy right now and what you can do to fix it. Thank you. Any questions?
Rochelle, that was wonderful. Thank you so much. Audience, if you have questions, there is a Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. It might be hidden, so you might have to hover your mouse down to see that Zoom control. A lot of really good points, I think, that were taken away today. Starting with gratitude every day is a wonderful practice. Setting aside that gloom and doom time, right? We can't escape the news, and it's important to stay in touch, but you don't need to watch it 24 hours a day. Getting your exercise. I'm like Rochelle. I love getting my outdoor walks every day, whether it's 10 minutes, whether it's half an hour, whether it's an hour. And leaving COVID better than when you came in, I think is really key as well. And lastly, being kind to ourselves, being kind to one another. I love Ellen DeGeneres. I'm sure a lot of you watch her as well. She always ends her show with being kind to one another, and that's especially important now. It looks like we do have a question that just came in. From Zulma. So what are some of your favorite songs to cheer you up, Rochelle?
So I love Babyface. He is incredible. His whole catalog is incredible. And I have been playing his music nonstop during this period, but more upbeat music such as soca. I'm not sure if you're familiar with soca music. It is native to Trinidad and Tobago. It's very upbeat. I love Machel Montana. He's one of the most popular soca artists, so that keeps me in a really good mood. Juvenile has a song called Back That, I don't know if I can say the word on this webinar, Ass Up, and that is one of my favorite songs from college. Every time I hear that song, it transports me back to college where I just had a phenomenal time and just really good memories. So I would suggest that the songs that you're choosing are songs that should also trigger happy memories and happy emotions from happy seasons of your life.
Wonderful, thank you. Some good feedback. Someone said that they really enjoyed the session. A couple people saying that. Another soca fan in the house right now as well. Just wrote in. Rochelle, what is one piece of advice that you could give to teachers in this time? So a lot of people who attend our wellness webinars are educators, right? That's kind of who we typically work with day in and day out. What do you recommend for those educators? A lot of people, I'm not sure where this person is writing in from, but for instance, all of our 12 markets, our major school districts are shut down for the rest of the year and in virtual education for the rest of the year. What would you say to them?
So of course, I'm not equipped to tell teachers what they should be doing or whatever. I'll speak generally. And you are incredible. Thanks for being an educator. Teachers, nurses, doctors are my favorite professions. So thank you for being here. What I would say is, one, I think you should be kind to yourself, meaning don't beat yourself up about what you are unable to do. Right now, pivoting is enough. I'm not sure if you're actually online teaching your specific students right now, but be patient with yourself. You know, everybody is adapting and adjusting to this new environment. So one, be patient with yourself. Some self-compassion during this season is important for all of us because we're just all trying to figure it out. Another thing I would suggest, and I thought it was such an amazing idea, is that there are teachers who are actually reaching out to parents and asking how they can help, right? And so it doesn't necessarily have to be a financial thing. And I realize that when we're in service to people, when we're in service to others, it makes us feel good. So you may not necessarily be seeing your students on a day-to-day basis anymore, but you could reach out to a couple parents and just check in. Hey, how is Amy doing? How is she dealing with the transition? So the communication is important. And sometimes you just have to ask the question, how can I help you? How can I help you? And a lot of people just want to be asked. So ask some of your peers, some of the other teachers, how can I help you? Ask parents, how can I help you? How can I help your children? And even for yourself, you need to ask for help if you need help. There's no glory in playing Superwoman at this time if you don't feel like Superwoman. Be vulnerable. Let your needs be known.
Great advice. Let's see. We'll take one more question here. What are 5 tips you would give to a new author, someone who's very passionate about writing but does not know where to start?
Okay, so Keisha, I will tell you, please send me an DM on Instagram. My Instagram is Rochelle Gapere. I'm going to share with you an article that I wrote about tips that new authors could use. But what I will say, you know, for everybody else who's online, just start. Start writing immediately. Carve out some time every single day. That's your writing time. You see how I mentioned doom and gloom time? You need writing time. It may be before everybody in your house wakes up, but you must write every single day, whether it is a sentence or a paragraph. When I was writing my book, I made a commitment. I'm going to write a sentence every day. Listen, I didn't just sit and write one sentence. I would get into flow and write a paragraph and ask for help, which is what you're doing right now. DM me for the other tips and I'll send you the article. But those are just some immediate things that I would say you could do now. And for anybody listening and who wants to start a book or write a book, but you think, who wants to read my story? There are 7 billion people on this earth. Somebody needs your story. Somebody needs your gift. You are a unique, special individual, and somebody will be inspired by what you have gone through. So you must share your gift. You must share your gift.
I love that. Thank you so much. We did get a question, when will you do this webinar again? So I encourage everyone to follow you on social media and on your website. I'll flash that up. Today's session is being cast to Facebook on Common Thread's Facebook page. We'll make sure to share that link with Rochelle so you can find it on her page as well. We'll also be placing it on our YouTube account. So if you want to share this one with someone else, you guys can go in the next couple of days and find it. It will be up immediately on Facebook, however. But you'll see Rochelle's contact information here. Again, Common Threads is commonthreads.org. We'd love for you to follow us on social media as well and get in touch with us. As Rochelle said, and I said earlier, Common Threads is doing a COVID-19 relief fundraiser for some of the work that we're doing to really help our families who are in need the most and help educators as well. So you can find out more information also at commonthreads.org. We are so appreciative to you, Rochelle, for joining us today. Thank you. This was really a wonderful session. And we look forward to, to hopefully having some future conversations with you on happiness. This was really great.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Jordan. Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.